Greetings and welcome back to Stellaris, the United Nations of Earth playthrough. So, quick story update. We have expanded significantly. We have 4 sectors now. We have quite a few planets going here. Looks like 8. And there will be more on the way. The next one I plan on colonizing is Stellaris 3 to make it another research world, since it is engineering is the best benefit for it. We are in a defensive alliance with the Hazar Pact, the first species we encountered. We started off with rough relations, but were able to improve them. And our people thought they looked delightful. The second species we encountered were the fire tribes of Kel, who we are also in a defensive pact with, and are currently undergoing a rebellion from Manward 2 from the Churk, the Sacrosanct Churk Foundation. They outright invaded these primitives, and apparently they ended up not liking how they were treated and took a whole bunch of their systems in rebellion. We have just encountered, but actually before that, we encountered the Pyrrhic hierarchy, and they are an autocracy. We are working on friendly relations with them. We still do not have a migration treaty, but we are fairly close. And then we just encountered the Garanshu Confederation. They are a moral democracy and federation builders. Now the plan here is, we have been working long and hard to establish good relations with both the Hazar Pact and the Fire Tribes of Kel. While both are hegemonic imperialist, one is a democracy, the other is an oligarchy. They're not actual authoritarians. They have started to get good relations with each other. So we've actually got pretty good relations with them. They've got good relations with each other. This seems like it would be ideal for a federation, but I actually want the Garanshu to be my allies. So my plan is to work on improving them, get in a federation with them, and hoping that my good relations between these two will improve relations between them and the Garanshu, since the Garanshu are now my federated allies. And if I can do that, I can eventually, I hope, get the 2 of them into the federation as well. An easy choice would be to go ahead and federate with these 2, but they would end up being in bad relations with the Garanshu, who would in turn end up hating me. But since I have such goodwill between these 2, I think I can be the one to bridge the gap between these 3 empires. But of course, all of that's going to have to wait until this war is over, because we are currently in the middle of the Manward 2 uprising. And I have the ability to create federations. Now, we are still pushing forward with some exploration. We are kind of hemmed in a little bit in most directions. We can still expand this way. After I get Gorham, Jamel, and Yilon, I plan on bringing the Mississippi down this way to shoot for Trimus, because there is a very large Gaia world down here. But we are still exploring up that way. Now, I have queued up 2 more science ships. My main reason for doing that is I will have 3 dedicated research worlds. We have Avalon, which is society-based because of the hostile fauna. We have Ultinia, which will be physics-based because of the wild storms. Spectacular electrical storms rack this planet's atmosphere on a semi-regular basis. And we have Stellaris 3, which has unstable tectonics and would make an excellent engineering research. This world has very unstable plate tectonics and is prone to massive earthquakes and volcanic activity. Now, I would like to keep a researcher posted at each of those 3 worlds, just on the off chance certain events happen, to trying to keep them safe. So I'm going ahead and building the ships ahead of time, and until those colonies need them, they will be able to assist with exploration. The one I send over toward Plessis, I can actually explore this area or start exploring this way so that we get access to the Gaia sooner. The one that is going toward Xeris, I will actually send over toward Kazoo, because I believe I should have experimental subspace navigation before I have established this colony, which means that this one would be able to jump over and explore Succubus Ball and possibly this sector, because once I get over there, I just need +1 sensor range to be able to explore that sector so that I can survey it or teleport, experimental subspace navigation over to it. We're going to continue pushing down this way till we find the northern borders of the Giranshu Confederation. And once I can no longer explore this way, I will come back up and explore toward whatever this empire is. But I have a strong suspicion we're about to run into multiple empires in this area here. Mainly because of how many unknown empires the Giranshu has met that we have not. The Fire Tribes of Kel have not met any that we have not. The Hazar Pact has one empire that we have not met. And the Pirac has finally met one empire we have not. Since I haven't seen them this way, my assumption is they are that way somewhere. But it could entirely be another empire in this cluster over here. I do not know yet. We are currently in the middle of a war, and as we last left, they were moving a huge fleet out of Manward, and I plan on awaiting them right here at our starbase. I just have 2 ships that are still repairing, and hopefully they will be repaired before they get here, because I believe my ships are outfitted properly to handle them. A lot of their ships do not have shields. None of their corvettes have shields. A lot of their destroyers have taken some massive damage from missiles because they lack point defense, and we are very torpedo heavy. And I believe, hell, that one's gonna blow up pretty quickly. It only has 17 hull left. Plus, I noticed their max hull is 460, where if we look at my fleet, my corvettes have a hull points of 575. So our corvettes are better designed than theirs, and I believe we are going to decimate quite a number of their fleet. We will take some losses. I do not believe I'm getting out of this unscathed, but between my torpedo boats and this station, Romanok Station, which is also very missile heavy, I believe we are going to prevail and finally crush the massive fleet that they have had going from sector to sector, shoving us around. Hopefully the Fire Tribes of Kel will make it up to Manward and cut off their ability to reinforce by taking this station again. And I have brought troops to assist with the conquest of Manward 2, but we will see how that plays out. Now, one other thing, we are in the process of, or we are about to, I don't know how far out he is, begin the Broken Gates. He is 23 days away, because we had picked up strange signals from a broken dome in Lawam 8. Other than that, we have one more archaeological site that just popped up, fossilized remains over here on Oltena. I believe that's it. So let us prepare to watch this battle in manward. I've already done my turn 1. Oh, I do have surplus. Well, not very much surplus, but I do have surplus. I'll wait till I get a little bit more stockpile of consumer goods before I go back to distributing luxury goods. Come on in. And we repaired just in time. Now I want to make sure this base participates, so I'm going to wait until they get in range.
Engaging hostile forces.
Thanks to the skill of our envoys, we've managed to gain a favor from the Pyrarch hierarchy. Well, let's just have a quick chat with them, shall we? Because I believe that gives us just enough to get a migration treaty going. So we will use that one favor to offer a migration treaty between us. And that should start to dissolve their xenophobia, since they are in a treaty with xenophiles, and they will start having xenophiles on their planets. Oh, look at the colors. Yeah, our lasers are red, their lasers are ultraviolet, and then we have these blue engine trails where they have purple. Oh, look at all of the missiles and torpedoes flying through there. They've already lost a Corvette.
Construction completed.
Alright, we finally finished the Gorham Starbase. Oh, that is so Firefly. Alright, so after we build the mining stations here, we're going to Jamel. And from there we will build our next starbase. So I need to keep 100 alloys banked. Back to the battle at hand. Oh yeah, they're about to lose a destroyer. We're about to lose a torpedo boat, unfortunately. Oh, we lost a couple. We took out a destroyer, one fled. Yeah, we are losing ships pretty quickly. Oh, mid-fight, they offer peace. Oh my. That is so wrong. Fire Tribes of Kel made peace with the Sacrosanct Church Foundation. Sacrosanct Church becomes independent from Fire Tribes of Kel. Fire Tribes of Kel gained 3 systems. Romanox, Nodon, and Yon. The 3 we'd occupied. So yeah, they did a status quo peace offer. Now we lost 10 ships. How many did we take out? 1 Corvette? No, we blew up a destroyer, thank you very much. Yeah, they had coil guns and UV lasers. So they did have some coil guns tearing down our shields. Our torpedoes did a lot of damage to them. So we did not quite get the victory I was hoping for there. We lost quite a bit of ships, so we are going to return home. The war is over. There's no need for us to still be here. I was hoping to get a science ship over this way, one built and over this way, because I was expecting debris from this battle. I don't know if it's going to pop up now. We did blow up one of their ships, but no debris. Yeah. So the Sacrosanct Kel Foundation owns 1 planet at this moment. Or Sacrosanct Church Foundation. Sorry, I'm getting them mixed up with Fire Tribes of Kel. Apologies, my allies. But they have split this empire. This is not good. They have no interest in being our subjects. They just got independence. And we're rivals. So yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be more hostilities going on here when this peace treaty has expired. Alright, so we now have the option to have a migration, have their species in our empire. Actually, let's go to Sol Station, cancel this other science ship, and see what species we now have. The Pirok is the only new one. We actually had this one already because our allies over here went ahead and invaded that primitive civilization of the Jinlot. So they have taken over that system, and that species is now available to us. So the Pirok are the only species we have picked up so far from them. I'm going to go ahead and go back to building a science ship first next. But they're about to pick up the Emetherans, because last I checked they had a huge fleet parked over this poor civilization. I can't see the population anymore. Interesting. They are arid preference and conformist, and they appear to be avian. But yeah, the war is now over. Hazor Pact is considered superior to us militarily because of how many ships we lost. That will be corrected shortly. My next bit of alloys is going to go back to reinforcing our fleet after this one upgrades. Yeah, let's go ahead and tell you to go back. Well, no, I'll wait till we're closer just in case we get any upgrades in the meantime, which I doubt. We're not researching anything for upgrades, but it's possible we could find one through an anomaly. Alright, so the war is over, and the battle did not go much in my favor as I was expecting. Yeah, we took heavy damage. We almost lost all of our ships. I guess it's a good thing the Fire Tribes of Kel sued for peace mid-fight. Otherwise, First Fleet would have been devastated. We did lose half of our strength. That did not go well. We will have an election this year in October. The Racket have finally moved into our system from the, they finally moved out of the Gothi Maelstrom, and they moved through to Penterum. Interesting. Never should have trusted them. Never should have made that deal. Filthy Pirax. Oh, humans. We greet you. Would you like to trade? What can you offer us? Look, this metal. It moves. It flows. It reconstructs. We have found many uses for it. We are certain you shall too. We will give you 40 living metal for 55 rare crystals. I don't have that in my stockpile currently. Can you get back to us later? Honestly, I doubt I'll have it before they leave our systems, but we'll try. We shall call you again before making leave of your space, but we may alter the deal. Yeah, right now I have 13 rare crystals. I'm getting 1 per month. No, I have 6 rare crystals. I'm getting 1 per month. I'm getting 0.23 dark matter per month. I doubt I will get enough rare crystals in the meantime, but now that I actually have access to rare crystals, I can buy them if I want to. So I could buy outright 10 or set up a monthly trade for some value to accumulate them a little faster. And I could also see what the Mutagen Merchant Guild is trading in. I believe they actually are the rare crystals. I think Zuricor does the gases, Mutagen does the crystals, and I forgot the name of the other one. Mutagen might be the motes. Oh well. Oh, there's the Vingralium. I didn't see where they had gone before. They're now moving through our systems this way. Alright, we've received communique from previously unknown spacefaring civilization, the Verax Citizen Coalition. Where are you located? Okay, yeah, they are the ones over here. They are a citizen stratocracy. They're an oligarchy. Advanced form of militaristic oligarchy where the military has subsumed all aspects of civilian administration. All government offices are held by military officers. They are evangelizing zealots. They seek to spread their faith across the galaxy and are not above using military might to force others to accept their beliefs. They are militarist, and they are fanatic spiritualists. Our science has proved that consciousness begets reality. We regard with patience the childlike efforts of those who delude themselves it is the other way around, as they play with the blocks of hard matter. Strategos Alda or Tob sends regards from the ruling council of the Verax, or Verzak Citizen Coalition. We hope for a productive relationship with your people, but be warned that our military will respond to any transgressions near our space with maximum force. Well, we're delighted to meet you, Mothmen. We currently have fairly decent relations, but they are rivals with the Garanshu. Oh, interesting. I thought there was going to be rivals with my allies. They're rivals with the Garanshu. Alright, they are continental dwellers. They currently do not want an embassy. But let's improve relations with them if we can. Let's move the one from the Fire Tribes of Kel for now. We'll bring it back. But we want to get as many decent relations and embassies as possible because we get more unity per embassies. So we want embassies all over the place. We want to be on good terms with every empire we meet if we can. And our first additional science ship is now out. I believe we will send it this way first. We'll go ahead and get yeah, we'll get that system. Let's move that way. We actually need to hire a leader before we can survey. We have computing experts and a new archaeologist. Let's get Lorena Hernandez. And let us see, are we doing... No, we are not. So we will keep her in this new ship. That's Constructor, you twit. That's the ship you're looking for. There we go. No, don't change your name. Select her. We will send her over here and have her start surveying. We'll have her survey those two systems and then come back to Therum. And then she's going to go up this way. And by the time she finishes that, she will probably be ready to come back to Ultinia to assist research. Okay, you currently don't have any orders, so what we're going to have you do is survey that. Finish surveying that system. Hit this one. Go up through here. Then come back and hit this one on your way out back this way. And our next science ship, we will head over this way. And I guess before we jump into there, since it's going to be a while, we will head over this way and start looking up into the Forbidden Nebula a little bit. Now I should be able to... Yeah, that's got one more month. I think I'm going to go ahead and queue up a colony ship. What we're going to do is go to Xerius, colonize, and I think we will use the Velet for this, because we do not have them in our empire yet. Or Genlot. We'll use the Genlot. Yeah, we'll use the Genlot for this, because we don't currently have them in our empire. New Jamestown. And it is the 1st of April, so I'm going to go through and do my usual empire maintenance. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and start building a city district here on Ultinia that uses up all of my minerals. Hopefully that won't shut down my constructor. Where's my civilian ships? I should get the 100 minerals for its next mining district before it needs it. But yeah, Ultinia was the one that had the least amount of available jobs, so it is the one I want to work on. It does need more housing as well, and I need to get some more research up and running. There are others I wanted to do things on. I just don't have the mineral income just yet. As the population grows, I should be able to take care of that. Interesting. The Sacrosanct Church Foundation subjugated to the... No, the other way around. The Sacrosanct Church Foundation subjugated the Garanshu Corporation. No. Okay, no. Garanshu Corporation subjugated them. Okay. Which is interesting that these moral democracy would go after a theocratic dictatorship. The computer doesn't really follow themes too well. So yeah, this has now subjugated that. Hopefully I can get in good enough with them to get them into a federation with me. Now, them having their subjects in the federation will screw up most chances for these guys to want to join, because these guys both really hate them right now. They're Prospectorium already. Interesting. Considering that their economy is crap right now, that doesn't bode well. That means that they'll be giving up the few resources they have. This empire is doomed for failure at this point. Alright, so the Garanshu broke their commercial pact. They'll probably break their research agreement shortly.
System survey concluded.
Class 12 asteroid orbits this planet. The small planetoid's orbit appears too stable for its presence to be a natural occurrence. And we have our other science ship. Where is it? There it is. The Asimov. Didn't I already have the Asimov? I often gotta wonder if it's reusing names too often. We have the Aldrin, the Kelvin, the Nobel, Tradewind. Nope, we did not have the Asimov. Alright. So we need a new scientist. We have an archaeologist, a computing, and a field manipulation. I do not believe I have field manipulation. I do not. So we are getting Darmug. And And I believe that is what we are currently researching, so we will replace Honor Butler with Darmug. Before we do that, 18 months remaining. Did not change the time at all because the level drop compensated for the loss of 5%. Yeah, he's getting 57, but we're going to put him in there anyway and get her out here earning some experience, so hopefully she will gain another trait soon. We are going to send her to survey that system first. I believe that is the first one we'll encounter. Yes. And it's going to take her 2 years to get over there? Good Lord. May not be my system by then. It may not be a system I can... Alright, let's do it this way. First, I want you to go there. And then I want you to survey that system. Just in case it gets claimed before I get over there, it doesn't interrupt her order and just make her idle in space. And we are losing consumer goods, so it's time to add a monthly trade again of buying consumer goods, and we're actually going to buy 8 because I want a nice surplus so I can spend consumer goods. Oh, the Racket are about to leave our system. I thought they were coming down this way because I thought they had just come from the Pirac. So they're about to do the pop-up asking if I want to do the deal
concluded.
that I can't afford to do right now. For some reason, someone has towed an asteroid into a stable orbit around Yamather 8. The massive engine sections and braking thrusters can still be found on the surface, although they have long since been rendered inoperable. Whoever did this also mined the asteroid for minerals, but these operations were seemingly abandoned shortly after they began. He got anomaly research speed. Houding is now carefree! Yay! We have a person who is carefree again. Well, we do have the other carefree over here, but she is probably going to be dying of old age pretty soon. She's our one of our highest level scientists. Alright, let's head this way. Well, we'll wait till we get there, because no, this is in their borders. Yeah. I'm seeing a border right there. The Virac Citizen Coalition. Yeah, they expand all the way down here. Now, do we currently have open borders with them? We do. So we can add a mote harvesting trap here to start generating motes. I believe we have just... Oh, we've already got a... I'd forgotten a long time ago to switch off and switch over to miners with these. We're going to lose a little bit of progress. That's fine. Look! This metal! It moves! It flows! It reconstructs! Yeah. Okay. I can't afford it. I don't have the spare crystals. Oh no! We've received some rather troubling reports regarding the deteriorating health of Governor Dolores Mwanga. Yeah, she also has become a substance abuser. Leader has fallen to substance abuse to cope with the stress, which has had a detrimental effect on physical health. Yeah, she is really at risk of dying of old age. Our original president is probably not going to last much longer. Not much in this system. After I'm done surveying that, move there, and then we'll see if we can jump in and explore that way, or that way looks like it's unoccupied. We could probably explore both ways. They went back to Chor's Compass. Now,
System survey concluded.
Is one more caravaneer around here somewhere. There are 3 separate caravans. I haven't seen the third one yet.
Anomalous readings registered.
Enigmatic energy readings surround Trimus 4 as though the entire planet is wavering in and out of existence. That was the Tomb world. No, that was the Gaia world, isn't it? Yes, crap. It is 4 levels above him. Now, he does have Carefree now. It would take him a year and a half. I want to know what this problem is with this thing before you continue your surveys. How close are you to a level? You just gained one. Yeah. We'll go ahead and have him research this now. So that's going to tie him up for quite a while. Hopefully he will live long enough to complete it. And the election has begun. Primary candidate is the Alien Suffrage Foundation. Surprisingly, the Electoral Freedom Society has lost a lot of traction because most of our people have become members of the Alien Suffrage Foundation. We want good terms with other species.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
Orbital systems of mirrors and shades can affect dramatic changes in planetary climates when managed properly. Dangerous wildlife and planetary resurfacing are my 2 options. I could up the leader lifespan by 10 years, but that'll take 5 years to get. Most of them it won't compensate for. So we are going to keep working on tile blockers, and we are going to get the dangerous wildlife removal, because I believe that will help us more. We do have 1 dangerous wildlife over here, and I believe this planet we're about to colonize, oh, it has noxious swamp. I thought it had another dangerous wildlife. Oh, this is the other one with dangerous wildlife, Loam 4A. Ariana Marino has been elected as president. We got our districts completed. She was previously a scientist on the UNS Aldrin, which was over here doing surveys. So now we need another scientist to replace her. Now the sad thing is, she's going to die of old age before her term is over. Our new world specialist is 70. Marcus Carpenter is getting up there in years. We need to replace... Let's get, Claire Farrell. Have her take over here. Finish surveying that system. And then go to Stellaris. And we're going to push out this way. That means we will most likely have another election soon. And if she has a mandate that says by the end of her term, rewards at end of term, this one won't matter. Because if she dies in office, even if we've completed it, it's going to count as failed. And I do not believe she is going to live the full term. She's already 68, and her risk of death started at 60. I don't think she's going to last 10 more years. One of our envoys, Soda Fujita, has died of old age. Where was he located? He was the one improving the Garanshu Confederation. So now Christian Biakanali is our new envoy to the Garanshu. Yeah, we're about to start losing leaders like flies. The ruins seem to be centuries, if not millennia, old. At first, it seems to be only a large open-air dome. But as we are excavating the outermost parts, we quickly find ourselves in what appears to be the derelict slums of a city. As a large gate blocks our progress deeper into the city, our scientists speculate that it is split into a hierarchy, each layer holding one class of the people in the city. It does not take long before one of our scientists finds alien remains in subterranean ruins under the broken concrete floor. After the first corpse is found, however, we start finding remains all over the slums, be it in the streets, in what would have been their homes, or hanging from the most remote parts of the ceiling. It is unclear what killed them, but it is a grisly sight. Yep, they did claim that system, so I was right to tell my scientists to just move this way. Actually, they may end up not doing the surveys. I think I will just go ahead and tell them to move there, because I will have experimental subspace navigation by the time they get there, and we will just go check out Succubus's ball. First fleet is finally repaired. Oh, I forgot to give this person orders. Alright, tropical ocean world. Let's go this way first. Survey these systems as we go. So Tomb World, Alpine World, another Tomb World. A lot of Tomb Worlds over here, aren't there? Now some of these Tomb Worlds could be starting civilizations that were in the atomic era that ended up destroying themselves. Alright. The UNS India is on its way to Xeris 3. And we are now upgrading our fleet, after which we can start reinforcing our fleets again. So we're going to get direct diplomacy. We believe that the best way to establish trust is to engage in an open, honest, and direct way. So boost our trust cap as well as trust growth, which should allow us to improve relations a little faster.
Ship upgrades applied.
Alright, now that First Fleet is upgraded, it is time for First Fleet to start reinforcing. We'll just do 2 ships at a time to make sure I keep some alloys stockpiled. Since I check every 3 months anyway, I'll be able to re-queue up more. Yeah, it did send our synthetic worker straight for the mode harvesters, which is good. Oh, what is this? We have a new species that I did not see before when I had the option to create a colony ship. That must be from the Church Foundation. It must be somebody they recently conquered. I can't see what species they have, but there's an easy way to find out. We will show the galaxy species, find that species, and see where they are from. Where's your homeworld? Yep. So they still haven't taken the Emutharians, but they did have another species they conquered in their empire. Actually, what was their origin? I haven't looked at that. Syncretic evolution. So that may be their second species. Second species forms an integral part of this civilization. They are big, strong, and most of them have the intelligence of a particularly dim-witted child. Ancient wars have culled their species of their most aggressive tendencies, leaving them quite servile. So let's have a look at that species again and see if they are indeed yes, they are. They are serviles. They cannot generate leaders. They can only be workers. They get a bonus to resources from jobs. And they are tundra preference. Blizzard is a tundra world. Go figure. So they would make good workers. I actually have robots that are going to be better workers than them, but that works out, I guess. That does mean I'm going to need more worker positions on this world. Yeah, I guess we'll get started on another mining district here. Alright, now that we have access to moats, excuse me, and crystals, we have additional edicts. I am going to kick on crystalline sensors after I get to Succubus's ball so that I can see what that system is to jump to it. I could click on volatile land clearance now. I'm already earning more moats than it would cost. It'll allow me to clear blockers cheaper and faster. But I'm not. I'll wait until I'm actually preparing to clear more blockers before I do that. Like say when this ship gets over there, because I'll probably be clearing some of these blockers. I can clear the glaciers at least. Actually, it looks like I'm about to kick that edict in. Let's do the volatile land clearance. Because I do have some massive glaciers. I need to move. I've got nothing else I can do here. Let's get the ones on the generator districts first. The frozen gas lakes. But an immense body of dense ice covers this region, and we're going to clear it out.
Research concluded.
Solitary science ships can break out of the naturally occurring hyperlanes and attempt to navigate to known but otherwise unreachable destinations. Alright, next upgrade. We have the Null Void Beam. That is a weapon that does a tremendous amount of damage to shields, but very little to armor and hull. The Hyperdrive 2 will give me access to the transit hub and access to stabilizing wormholes. And of course the blue lasers will upgrade my pickets and interceptors. What I really need is more power. See, that would take 2 years. That would take 15 months. I could knock out the Null Void Beam to be able to get a reroll and hopefully get some power. Shields would take 5 years. Nobody else has level 3 shields yet that I have a research agreement with. The Hazan have that, or the Hazar. Yeah, let's knock out the Null Void Beam. I probably won't make too awfully much use of it, since it does reduce damage to everything but shields. It does a tremendous amount of damage to shields. I mean, it's doing 5 times damage to shields, basically. So this will sap shields incredibly fast. It might be useful dealing with certain Leviathans or entities, but right now up against the empires I'm facing, most of them don't have the power, so they've dropped most of their shields. So I don't know how effective it will be against them. Yeah, see, they have more armor than shields on their ships. Let's check out their destroyers. Equivalent armor and shields. So I don't know if I'll be making too awfully much use of it. I could change my interceptors to use 1 null void beam and 2 lasers. That would make them a little bit more effective against enemies, because they would be working primarily on armor with the lasers, and the null void beam would knock any shields out of the way pretty quickly. I don't know, though. I mean, that's a very situational weapon, in my opinion. Sure, it saps their shields rather quickly, but then it is just about a worthless gun after that. So I think it's really only best when you're dealing with stuff that has heavy shields. Whereas the first circle seemingly consisted of the ramshackle dwellings of the outcast and the destitute, the second circle has more in common with the United Nations of Earth notion of a proper urban planning. We find several open squares our scientists assume used to be marketplaces, although anything from back then has long since decayed to the point where it is impossible to make out what it might have been. It does not take long before we start finding unusual remains in this part of the dome too. They seem to have perished in much the same way as their poorer neighbors, and we find the dead strewn all over. Made first contact in the Clindath system. For now, we've codenamed them Shades. These are the mining drones. No rush in sending an envoy over to them, really. See, can I see their fleet power? 106. That's pretty easy to knock out, but it's not a threat to me right now. That does mean after you survey this system, I think we'll go this way. Well, that's a heavy asteroid system. So as soon as I get an envoy I feel I can spare, I can knock out this contact fairly quickly. And I just noticed we're losing consumer goods again. Let's up this to 12. Alright, finally starting to get a decent amount of minerals stocked up. I'm still not able to improve all the colonies I want to improve at once, but I can get another industrial district up. That'll help cut down on how much I'm having to trade. And here we can go ahead and start clearing out the other massive glacier in front of the rich mountain. These mountainsides glint with rich and ore resources and precious stones. Okay, both of us are improving relations at the Hazar Pact, so I can spare an envoy right now to do that other first contact. Chirk are trying to harm relations. So yeah, let's go ahead and pull the envoy out of the Hazar Pact to Divya Morthy to go ahead and knock out this for the influence bonus. We'll have our gas extraction wells in 5 months, so I need to put some constructors, get some constructors in position to claim them. It'll take him 10 months to get over there. Oh boy. I waited too late. Take him over 9 months to get there. Alright, we're going to go ahead and switch over to passive and do experimental subspace navigation to Succubus Ball. That's going to take us 7 months to get over there. The UNS Fahrenheit has made an incredible discovery in orbit of Trimus 4. The planet possesses a hitherto thought impossible number of superimposed quantum states per unit of space. Science Officer Hu Ding suggests that Trimus 4, which he codenamed the Veil, exists simultaneously in 2 dimensions, our own and an unknown other. What is more, the number of quantum states in the particulate field surrounding the planet is increasing at a constant rate. As of yet, there is no confirmed theory that could account for this phenomenon. Hu Ding posits that the psionic energy, sir, the transmission crackles out to static. So I think he just phased out of existence. The UNS Fahrenheit crew apologizes for the abrupt termination of their initial report. During the transmission, the Veil experienced a complete dimensional... It's a shrouded world now. The Veil experienced a complete dimensional phase shift, its particulate fields rotating out of one dimension and into another. The glittering jewel of a Gaia world has vanished, and in its place is now a swirling planet, occluded by a shroud of psionic energy. Fascinatingly, the number of superimposed quantum states appears to have been reset as the planet shifted, and is now increasing at the same rate as when the planet was a Gaia world. Hu Ding has used the rate of increase in particulate superimposition and the total number of quantum states at the time of transition to extrapolate a 3-month cycle for the planet's dimensional shifts. Perhaps we might develop a method to prevent the planet from shifting, but we should secure the system first. Well, that knocked 6 months off of the null void beam. So we have located the Veil. Every 3 months it'll shift between being a Gaia world and being a shrouded world. And I forgot to check trade. Yeah, piracy has ramped up over here as of late. We are still able to suppress it sufficiently. Piracy over here is not a huge problem. And we do now have a small amount of piracy leading up to Ponel that we need to worry about. Yeah, Nimelin is our largest bit of piracy because it gets it not only from Bernard's Star but from Sugalia. But we do have 3 fleets that can be patrolling once first fleet is fully done reinforcing. I will probably have it take over this piracy suppression and move second fleet over to handle the new one while it reinforces.
We have detected an anomaly.
Backscattering spectrometry sensors indicate the presence of valuable substances beneath Trimus 2's noxious clouds. Poison coated. Yep, it's a toxic world. I didn't mean to close that out so quickly. We found an archaeological site somewhere. But where? Let's go back to our situation log, see what a new archaeological site is. Frozen Complex, where? Siet 4, a system we haven't claimed, but is in our territory. The Hazar Pact located this site for us. So we'll need to claim that one next. When the gate into the third layer finally opens, our scientists, curious about what they will find next, flood into what is soon identified as yet wealthier region of the Old Dome. At this point, we can make confident assumptions about what to expect from this city. Shortly after we enter the lair, one of our people suddenly turns around and savagely attacks a colleague. The victim is already dead on the ground by the time the unexpected assailant is restrained. In the aftermath, we are completely unable to get anything sensible out of the crazed scientists and get no better understanding of what happened to them. This layer is significantly smaller than either of the previous two, and it is most likely the final one before we reach the center of the dome. Only one gate remains. Alright, I now have enough. Nope, I'm one relic shy. I thought I had just gotten enough. So one more relic and I can unlock the secrets of the Cybrex. Trimus 2 is exceptionally rich in minerals that are, unfortunately, of no use to us. However, Science Officer Houding believes that many elements in the crust of Trimus 2 can be transformed into potentially more useful forms through positron bombardment. The UNS Fahrenheit requests that the United Nations of Earth set aside 100 energy credits for the purpose of this project. It's only 100 energy credits. I'll have that back in a month.
Situation log has been updated.
So research the projects in the system. Take 2 months. Controlled dispersal of positrons from orbit may change the minerals native to this planet into a more useful form.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
Pockets of exotic gas are rare and often inaccessible by conventional means. Such deposits can only be reached by using special extractor technology. Alright, since we are upgrading ships, let's get the standardized Corvette patterns to cut down on the price and increase how quickly they come out. I don't believe I have a Voidcraft specialist. But we should, yeah, the Pirac have finished this, so we'll be getting a bonus from them. It'll take a little over 2 years. In that time, I should have First Fleet fully reinforced and be working on these next two. Now, I need to go ahead and give the orders. Build that mining station. Build that mining station, and then return to see it. See, I believe those are the only 3 gas mines in my territory at the moment. So you can build that mining station. And then what the heck? Let's go ahead and claim these 2 systems before we move back. We'll get parsecs later. Let's go ahead and have our troop transport dock at this station. Hazar Pact drove off their commercial pact with the Fire Tribes of Kel. That's not good. That means their relations may be dropping, or it could just be that they want the influence. It's hard to tell.
The special project has concluded.
Crew of the UNS Fahrenheit are pleased to report that the experiment was a success. A significant number of dense mineral veins on Trimus 2 have been transmuted into usable resources. We're going to make this a tech world for now, because it will reduce the speed at which it takes for me to build a research lab. We've discovered a new life form in Clendath, although calling it a life form may be incorrect. The entities appear to be fully automated mechanical drones built exclusively for some unknown industrial purpose. Observations will continue, but since it's likely these machines are programmed with defensive protocols, it would be prudent to tread lightly. Yep, they broke off their research agreement. They broke the non-aggression pact. Oh, this is not good.
Research concluded.
My formulated alliance is falling apart. So we have the null void beam. By harnessing the entropic nature of the null void, this beam can actually destroy energy. Alright, we got... Well, we could... I guess we'll go for the energy grid. Yeah, I kind of wanted an upgraded reactor at this point. That'll take a little over a year. UNS Asimov has arrived in Succubus's ball. We have encountered another abandoned gateway, this time near Succubus's ball. It appears to have been built entirely by microscopic nanites of an unknown design. Unlike the previous structure, this gateway has been significantly altered since its initial construction. Its connection to the rest of the network has been severed. Instead, the only valid destination is an uncharted group of stars just beyond our galaxy that has been designated the L cluster by our astronomers. Although the gateway emits a faint power signature, it has been deliberately locked into some kind of maintenance loop that prevents its activation. Until we find some way of aborting this process, the L cluster will remain beyond our reach.
Situation log has been updated.
Yeah, I kind of wish you had to actually survey the thing to get those pop-ups and get all that information about the system. There's only one thing to survey in this system. While you are surveying, I am going to go to edicts, and for a turn or two, we are going to activate crystalline sensors. I think I'll activate it for a full month and then shut it off. That'll get me some more data. I'll be able to see what's over in this system. I'll be able to see a little farther over here. Won't really help me out here right now. Now that gave us the L cluster. We've learned of a mysterious star cluster somewhere just beyond the periphery of our galaxy. It can only be accessed through L gates, artificial subspace portals found in certain systems. These gateways have been deliberately disabled by someone, and for now we lack the necessary insight into the subspace mechanics that govern their use to lift the lockdown. Alright, this system has an ocean world in it. Let's see what else we popped up with our extended sensor range. Camglaria has almost nothing in it. Mythar and Bingwin. And Trinic. So after you survey that, we're moving to Trinic. Alright, so now we are going to disable that edict. Now that I've gotten the bonuses out of it, I don't want to dwindle my crystal resources. So we fired it up for a short time, actually, not for a full month. Just long enough to get the intel we needed to be able to jump there next.
System survey concluded.
Alright, so now we are going to do an experimental subspace navigation over to here. And it's going to take 5 months to get there. Well, the Church Foundation has declared the Fire Tribes of Kel their rival. I thought they already were rivals. Apparently our rivalries ended after the war, or when they became the Prospectorium. Because we're not rivals anymore, nor are the Hazar Pact.
Anomalous readings registered.
We briefly detected unusual energy readings here in Trimus. Okay. Envoy Divya Mortha has died. She's been replaced by Francis Gibson. Julianne Sullivan will be my next one to die of old age.
System survey concluded.
Microsingularity recently intersected Trimus Prime, passing straight through the core and emerging on the other side of the planet. Encounter does not seem to have caused any permanent damage, but it has altered the energy output of the planetary core slightly in a way that defies our current scientific models. Further study may be warranted. Have we gotten this one before? I think we have. Alright, so we have fully surveyed that system. Reports of the deep space drones previously encountered have been investigated closer. The drones appear to be the workers and custodians of an autonomous orbital mining project. Established millennia ago and then soon abandoned by all but the drones themselves, judging by the state of the processing equipment. The drones possess powerful mining lasers and make obviously threatening, if not outright hostile, overtures toward human vessels when approached. They may only be old drones, but they should be kept under close watch by the United Nations of Earth.
An alien nation is hailing us.
No, it's not. Alright, so we can now claim... Nope, I need 9 more alloys. So next month I can start claiming Yelon, which will give me yet another planet I could eventually colonize. Situation log. The drone study would take 2 years. Yeah, what the heck. Let's go ahead and research that. Just to get it out of the picture. Now, can I place her? Yes, Francis Gibson is available again. Fire Tribes of Kel. Yeah, we're going to go back to improving relations with the Fire Tribes of Kel. Admiral Junichi Harada has developed new skills. He has Scout, Jester, and Scout. Leader is an expert at reconnaissance, having the technical skills to always get the most out of long-range ship sensors. That boosts his speed and sensor range. That's the one commanding 3rd Fleet up here. Alright, we can finally establish an embassy with the... Have you heard the good news? What good news? An embassy with the Verzak. We're still a ways off from any sort of other agreement. Yeah, they not on the best terms with us. Alright, get another mining district up and running here. We're going to need a lot of minerals since we're getting more industrial districts. I really need to get my research up and running, but in order to do that, I need to get my consumer goods up and running. Running Tech World, well, I can't run Tech World on my capital, which is my only resource location, isn't going to reduce consumer good consumption enough. Like I said, I was never really impressed with that. Don't really have anything else to do at Al Madain, so we will clear out this last deep sinkhole in front of the Bountiful Plains. That'll be the last blocker to remove here. And that is the last blocker we can currently remove for quite a while. Yeah, it's going to be 3 more years, so after that's cleared, I can drop that edict. Yeah, we're getting quite a bit of bleed over into our unity because of spare edicts, but we are earning a lot of unity now, so that's not too big of a deal. I would like more edict fund. We got to actually see the transformation of the veil this time. So next one will be in April. We have finished our survey of the Tomb World. Awesome energy world, fairly good size, and we do have a species that has 100% habitability on Tomb Worlds. Alright, we finally got an embassy with the Verzak. That should help out with improving relations.
Construction completed.
And we now have our first exotic gases. And it's actually extracting where is it? There was a way to see exactly how much. Oh, 1.2. Yeah. Because of our bonuses to mining stations. You know, it's funny, the Hazar Pact has that emblem. It should be the one with the peacock race. But anyway.
A new world of opportunities awaits.
Alright, we have begun colonization of Xeris. Oh, there are 2 glaciers we can remove here. Let's go ahead and clear them out while it's becoming a colony. It'll take a year and a half. We should be able to get both of these taken care of. That one's in front of a frozen lake, which is, this is going to be a generator world. So we'll do it first. And then the ore-veined cliffs second. Tempestuous Mountains, we need Noxious Swamp. That should be the next one we go for, probably, if we can get it. Now that we have gases, I am going to run exotic gases as fuel when we get sufficient income, because that is a nice boost to sublight speed for our ships that are patrolling and our constructors and science ships that are moving around. Which reminds me, by using volatile motes for their explosive capabilities, we are able to clear difficult terrain at a much faster rate. Alright, we've made it to the Ifrov system, so we're going to survey that and see what that ocean world is like. Oh, we've gotten both of these. The Tomb World has gas extraction. And the Alpine has crystal mines. Which reminds me, didn't one of my worlds have some damn crystal mines? Yes, New Jamestown that I'm just coming up with will have crystal. Could have sworn I had another one that had crystals. Not currently. So that is my first access to crystals on planets. And I do have a gas extraction well I can do on these two worlds. As a matter of fact, after I get done with this sinkhole, I should probably get started on the gas extraction wells. Alright, we've got a favor with the Verzak now.
We have detected an anomaly.
We've discovered an ancient alien starship lying half buried in an asteroid cluster. Go ahead and check it out. Alright, we finally finished the broken gates. As soon as the final gate opens up, waves of intense psionic energy wash upon our scientists. Most of them collapse in apparent agony, leaving only a few to make their way into the actual lair itself. It seems to be a large temple, with a massive dais or altar in the middle of it. All across the walls there are huge diagrams of different star systems, and a repeated one seems to center on Lawam itself. Making their way closer to the middle, the few scientists that remain find that it is in fact an imposing machine fashioned in the form of an old altar. As they start tinkering with the machine, they are suddenly beset by a shared auditory hallucination. A screaming command by something to be unearthed, unshackled. Visions of a creature ripping apart the Lawam system plays over and over in their heads as the creature demands grow shriller. Several of the scientists fall unconscious, unable to deal with the unabating torrent of psionic pain that rocks their bodies. Rip the machine apart before it can cause any more harm. Or we could let it out and get an eldritch horror in this system. No. We are going to rip this machine apart. And then you are on your way to the fossilized remains. It will take you 3 years to get over there. So how much progress did that give me on the drone study? I'll knock it out this year. Or next year, the start of next year. You want to be my rival? I can use extra influence. Now that's not exactly going to help relations with their overlord. Alright, I'm actually going to buy another 1,000 minerals. Because there are a few things I want to do. I need another city district so I can get more researchers here. I need another mining district. No, I won't need another mining district here. What I need... And I need another industrial district. So that I can stop buying consumer goods and pump up my alloys even more.
Anomalous readings registered.
Small cargo pod has been left adrift in space above this gas giant. It has been captured by the planet's gravity well and will eventually be pulled into its atmosphere. Hypergara. Oh, this ocean world. Another awesome breadbasket, but a good-sized world. Got a favor with the Garanshu now. We've discovered an ancient alien starship half buried in an asteroid crater. The science ship's exterior has an extensive sensory array and no weaponry. The exterior was not damaged in any way before it crashed. We can assume this catastrophe was the result of a fatal error caused by the crew. So that created a archaeological site over that way. Which reminds me, I forgot. Nope, we did not get a minor artifact from the final of that. So yeah, we're still one minor artifact shy of being able to review the secrets of the Cyrex.
System survey concluded.
Alright, this ship is now done. So I am going to have it go back to Kazoo. That will take 8 months. No, 7 months. And then once I'm back there, I can bring it over to Xeris and park it so that I will have science ships in the immediate vicinity of these places. A discarded cargo pod was left by someone in the upper atmosphere of Ipagara 4 long ago. It has somehow escaped the notice of other spacefarers, and its decaying orbit means it would have been lost in the gas giant's crushing atmosphere within another few years. When the crew of the UNS Aldrin unsealed the pod, they found a stash of alien jewelry made out of precious metals. I do need one more. Let's keep them. So now we can go discover the secrets of the Cyrex. Our scientists have begun a special project to study the deeper secrets of the precursors. It would take 6 years. After we finish the drone, we will probably do that before we do the Corvette build speed. I don't know, we might finish the Corvette one first. And just hold off on the secrets of the Cyrex until it's lower than our next research. But I don't know.
Research concluded.
Being able to get out here and still get anomalies that might help with engineering could push us through that faster. Load balancing facilities can greatly improve the stability of local grids and feed excess power back into centralized capacitors. That's what I've been waiting for. I need the cold fusion reactor so I can upgrade my ships. Although now that I have a source of gas, the research complexes would be great as well. It doubles my jobs. That would take 2 years. That would take 3. That would take 2 years to get even more energy credits. I do have a computer specialist. And I do have a source of exotic gases. 2 years should give me enough stockpile to upgrade my research complexes. I think the military at this point is the bigger priority. We'll do the cold fusion reactors. I believe, yes, Marcus Carpenter. Wait, I got a replacement for him, didn't I? Yes. Let's do Claire. She had just finished a study over here, as a matter of fact. Put Darmug out there to get a little experience. So we are going to start with our first energy grid here. A carefully calibrated grid network maximizes the output of power generators. It will improve the energy credits that technicians get by 1 and add a technician job. Now that improves the base energy credits, so it should be affected by all the modifiers. So basically the base should go up to 7, and that would mean since I'm getting about 60% more, that'll end up being another, yeah, it should be about 11.38 or so that I end up getting. Alright, we've cleared out all of the blockers we can there. So we can disable volatile land clearance. We still don't have sufficient income to run our exotic gases as fuel like I want to. As soon as we can get some planet-side gas extractors, we should be able to. Oh, I see the abuses of our trust. I know now why that event did not pop up in one day. Because it said it was interfering with something with the Hazar Pact. I had just moved the envoy from the Hazar Pact out to start doing a first contact or improving relations with someone else. So I did not have an envoy there for them to manipulate the relations with. When they start the espionage action to manipulate relations, they have to pick the target when they start it. So if the envoy's gone by the time that happens, sometimes that will prevent it. I wonder why they dislike me so much. I don't have enough intel to get a breakdown. Yeah, we actually risk piracy there now.
We have detected an anomaly.
Initial analysis of the asteroid's composition points toward potentially interesting finds. After years of study, some researchers on Avalon are beginning to feel they understand the null void. There are currents, forces, some flow which gently pushes against the portal to Avalon, bringing the traces of dark matter we are able to collect. In theory, it should be possible to make our portal more visible to this force, which should result in a larger harvest. That's also... They're giving me a lot of engineering crap that is slowing down my engineering research. But there's no... I don't have a use for dark matter right now. There's no urgency to doing this one, I think.
The special project has concluded.
The drones and their tireless, endless work of extracting ever-diminishing resources from their local planetoids make for a somewhat dull but nevertheless informative subject of study. In fact, mining networks on Earth could stand to learn a thing or two about maximizing mineral extraction rates while conserving energy. Additionally, we have found that the drones are not completely silent. They emit signal pings, though extremely infrequently and at a wavelength hard to isolate from background noise. If there is anyone left to receive these pings, may be a mystery for another time. Fascinating automata. This will give us a +10 to our mineral mining station output. Only our minerals, not our energy, unfortunately. Using techniques derived from the mining drones allows us to efficiently exploit mineral veins previously not deemed worth the trouble. So yeah, we'll have that in a year. I'm going to go ahead and finish it before I start on one of these others. First fleet is fully reinforced. We are now in the process of filling out second fleet.
System survey concluded.
Another crystal. This is the way I plan on expanding.
Construction completed.
Alright, got our other gas extraction here. Governor Dolores Mwanga has died at the age of 79. Our original president has passed away 44 years after we first started venturing into space. So we need a new governor. And which sector was that? Let's go back to sectors. The Sugalia sector. We have a research position here, but this is mainly where our food harvest comes from. Oh, I have an available governor, the previous president. So I don't need to hire one at this moment. I can just put him in this position. The Asimov has returned. It appears that the asteroid Q1778-72 and the surrounding debris originate from a former planet. Deep within the center of the asteroid, we can find traces of extremely valuable alloys. There are also hints of bacterial life that has now died in the vacuum of space. This shows us that the celestial body once bore the promise of life. Oh, +3 alloys added to it? Oh yeah, I need to expand that way. Well, I am planning on doing that.
Construction completed.
Alright, New Jamestown is now up and running. We need a gene clinic. Alright, we're switching this to an urban world now. Cut down on our... I think we will also be switching most of these to urban worlds as well to cut down on our upkeep. Well, no, not that one yet. Let's keep that one a generator world. This one is going to stay a mining world because it is benefiting the most harvesting traps. I think this one will stay a generator world for a bit till I fill out the generator districts. Then I will probably make it urban. I barely got any food surplus, so until I fill out I've got room for 6 more farmers. I'll be getting another one in 10 months. Well, another one in 3 and then 10. So this one's going to have to remain agri until I get sufficient food surplus. I have been ended up pulling farmers up to fill up the industrial districts, basically. Oh, this Tome world has gas extraction.
Anomalous readings registered.
Massive storms are visible in the upper atmosphere of this gas giant. It might be worth an effort to study them in more detail. The last signal received from the UNS Fahrenheit was not much more than garbled static. They had been studying the strange localized storms on Camgloria 2 and were sending back incredible preliminary reports. The Tempest reacted to the probes being sent in, creating vacuum pockets to avoid them, and then slowly seeping back towards the drones. UNS Fahrenheit was planning on testing out numerous scanning frequencies at the storm before we lost contact. The science ship seems to have sunken into the gas giant and appears to be dormant. We must rescue them. Now that's going to require having 2 science ships in orbit. So you are going to interrupt your current orders to go over here. And for some reason it won't let me queue it up because it doesn't expect a second science ship to be there already. And you are going to move there. And it's going to take 7 months. And in the meantime, our leader is missing. Alright, another tradition available. We must build stable and lasting partnerships with our neighbors, based on trust and mutual respect. Together, we are far stronger than we could ever hope to be alone. This will give me another envoy, and unlock Form Federation. And then we have one more before we complete the diplomacy tree and get another Ascension perk. I did not mean to click that. Yeah, I did. 4 years. Alright, we'll be getting the Corvette build speed and reduced cost and dangerous wildlife removal this year. Our edicts are seriously flowing over. We could cut down on the time by dropping one of these. I don't want to drop diplomatic grants. Land of Opportunity, I think I can slow down my population growth a little. That gives us 34 to play with. I guess for now I could run Map the Stars. Or actually no, I guess I could avoid running any until I get a little bit more edict fund. Or a different edict. Or reduce my edict cost. But just that should add an extra 30 and cut down on how long it's going to take for me to get this. But now that we have an extra envoy, they won't show up immediately. It's got to progress a day or something. What I'm probably going to do is, since we are at the 5-year mark, and we're going to call this an episode, I'm going to relaunch this save so that I can start with that envoy. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.